All right, we're joined now by rising UFC bantamweight Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean, I know you're traveling. I really appreciate your time. And I guess you met Khabib in your travels in Bahrain. How was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. Got to meet the Prince. Got to meet Khabib. It was cool. I think it's awesome what he did for the people in Africa. It's something I'd like to do someday. Once I get to make the money he's making, so I'd like to be able to do stuff like that. So it was cool to get to meet him, the Prince, and be out here in Bahrain. So I go to Dubai tonight. Actually, I go to Dubai and I'm gonna be there for a few days. So it's super cool.
Well, I won't keep you too long. I really appreciate your time here. So let's get into it. You were handed a 6-month suspension by the Nevada Athletic Commission, a very small fine. I think it was about $474. In general, fair? How do you feel about what was handed down?
Yeah, it sucks. I didn't do anything, so getting suspended at all is, it sucks, and getting fined also sucks. It isn't, the fine. It sucks for getting in trouble for something I didn't do. 6 months. I wouldn't be able to fight within this next 6 months anyway. Within the next 3 or 4 months, because the suspension came from the day of the test, September 5th. I just got surgery 3 weeks ago on my hip. So I'm gonna be rehabbing that and hoping to return within the next 5 or 6 months. So as far as the suspension goes from the Athletic Commission, 6 months, and then we still got to deal with USADA and figure out that. So that's, I don't know. My lawyers are working on it and trying to figure out. We still got to test a bunch of supplements, and I tested 0.08 nanograms, which is a very small amount. They're confident it's UFC knows I didn't take anything. They know it's a tainted supplement. I think USADA knows that. I think the Athletic Commission knows that. This isn't a rare thing. It's common. It happens, especially with the substance I tested for. It was Austrian.
Right.
And, a lot of stuff. I think my fans really got my back, and it does bother me when I read stuff online. People saying, "You cheater! Why?" I didn't do anything, and I know those guys are just haters, and they're just trying to get a rise out of me or whatever it is. But it sucks hearing that from people, because I really didn't do anything, and it's just it is what it is.
Yeah, so you put out that tweet, and I saw where you explained exactly what the amount was.
Yeah.
And then you gave, I think, a middle finger emoji, among a number of other things. But I'm guessing, why acknowledge them? Was the response overwhelming? Were you just feeling a certain thing? What prompted you to send the tweet?
I just really wanted to keep people updated. I feel it's fair to the fans who, maybe people that are skeptical. They're like, oh, I don't know if he did or not. But I think releasing the levels I tested for really goes to show I didn't take anything. That there's no performance enhancing effects from 0.08 nanograms. My lawyer I'm talking to said he just had a case with someone who was in the Olympics, and they tested for the same thing, Austrian, and they found it in the daily multivitamin pill she was taking. So, it could be in anything, and it happened. I don't wish it upon any athletes. I don't care if you have a rival in the UFC. It sucks to have to go through. So I don't wish it upon anyone. And I get a lot of. There's a couple of UFC fighters. I seen Andre's soccer mom retweeted that I got suspended. I'm sure he's loving that after I whooped him. So, there's some guys out there. Tim Elliott, I seen him commenting on stuff saying maybe he shouldn't do steroids or something, and I met that guy in Vegas, and we were kind of friends, but I don't know why I hope it doesn't happen to them, but if it does, that's karma, because it could happen to anyone. Everything I take is USADA approved. Every ingredient I take is USADA approved. It's what's in the supplements that they don't list. So, and I take all natural stuff, and it could be in anything. So we're going to try to figure out what it was in and how, you know what I mean? So it's a long process.
So as I speak to you today, and again, as you mentioned, it is a lengthy process, you haven't quite identified what the origin of this, and I grant that, it could be, as you pointed out, it could be in so many different things, down to the multivitamin. You haven't quite identified what it might be yet?
No, Jeff Nowitzki, when I originally sent him, when he called me that day, I sent him all my supplements, and he said, I guarantee, or he didn't say I guarantee, but he said, I have a strong feeling it's those caffeine pills. So those were the only things we sent in, because he was so positive, he was sure it was those. And it ended up not being those, so we had to send it. We just sent in all of my other supplements last week, and those take a couple weeks to get back. So I'm just patiently waiting. My lawyers, helping me a ton. Jeff Nowitzki's helped me a ton. The UFC's helping me a ton. So we're just, it's just waiting game right now. But really, it doesn't matter. It's just I'm recovering from this hip injury, and I'm gonna get back in the gym. I have a fire under me. I want to train. I haven't been healthy. Even going into that last fight, that October fight when I was supposed to fight El Teco, I wasn't healthy. I needed this hip surgery. My foot wasn't healed. So, it's a blessing in disguise. I'm healing up from a bunch of injuries, and I'm excited to come back. A lot of people are saying that I'm overhyped. Oh, not a lot of people. Just because some of the comments I read.
I was going to say, Sean, I don't think it's a lot of people. I mean, it's some maybe, but it's not a lot.
Very, very few people. They're definitely the good outweigh the bad, but there's people saying, why you're overhyping yourself. But I'm the real deal. I train hard. I have true skills. This isn't luck. So, and I think a lot of people know that, but there's some doubters out there. But those guys at the end of the day, kind of, they shouldn't motivate. They shouldn't motivate you, but that shouldn't be where your motivation comes from. But it does light a little fire under me, and I like proving them wrong. But
what exactly was wrong with your hip?
I had a torn labrum. A lot of athletes have it. Just depends if it's severe or minor. After surgery, the doctor called me and said that was a very bad tear. They had to dislocate my hip, shave part of the bone, and then reattach the labrum. So he said it was very bad, and I should be able to. I wasn't able to run that entire fight camp. I ran one time and it hurt, so I didn't. Going into that fight was, I knew I was gonna go out there and knock El Teco out, and I'd love to fight. I'd love to fight him when I come back. I don't know if he's gonna get a fight booked or what's going to happen, but I'd like to get that fight. I was going to go out there and knock that kid out in the first round, whether I was healthy or not.
Now, let's assume, just for the sake of this conversation, that the USADA suspension matches what the NIC gave you, which means you can come back, I think, around March or something, right?
Right.
Would you be ready to go physically by then anyway?
No. The doctor told me a couple days ago I won't be able to run for 3 months, or the last 2 weeks. So running's a huge part of my conditioning. I move a lot in the cage, constantly on my feet, bouncing around. So I think I rushed that last comeback just because it was the Conor Khabib card. I told Dana that day, before Conor Khabib got announced, I said, I'm getting surgery. I won't be able to come back for a while. I talked to him, and then they announced that, and then I went right back to him and I said, hey, I can fight. We can make this happen. So I got a cortisone shot, and it kind of numbed it up for a while, and I would have been able to fight. But it would have, it is what it is. It's okay.
So between the injury and then this stuff where you're still trying to figure out what's going on, like, what are you doing to stay focused? I mean, right now you're traveling, but that won't last forever. How are you mentally centering yourself to deal with? And I mean, this is like the first real, frankly, even competitively, this is like the first real adversity in your career. Yeah.
Back-to-back surgeries and coming off in the middle of a suspension for something I didn't do. I've been super positive. It hasn't. I think a big thing right now is I'm super into gaming, and I think that's helped me a lot. I see people always like, do you even train? Stuff like that. But honestly, I haven't really been able to train the last month because of this hip issue. Just got off crutches last week, so I've just been playing Fortnite, building my Twitch channel, keeping busy that way. I use my Instagram as a business, so I feel like I've been keeping busy in the industry. I've been doing a lot of kind of fashion pictures and talking to some fashion people. So I'd like to dip my shoes in the fashion industry. I like to be in the entertainment business, so I'm excited to come back. And at the end of the day, fighting is what I truly love to do, and that's what I really love doing. So I'm excited to be able to get back in the gym and start training.
Now, I've never done Twitch for gaming. I use the IRL in real life channel briefly, just to experiment with streaming. So I know my way around it, but I'm certainly no expert on Twitch. But so tell me the truth about Twitch, or just gaming generally. Do you think, how financially lucrative can that be? I know those guys like Ninja can make $1 gazillion, but
right.
How much? I'm not asking for a figure exactly, but how lucrative is that actually for you? Do you think potentially, let's say over the next year or two?
Right now I'm making around $4,500 a month through gaming.
It's not bad.
I just do it because I love it. I didn't even, I've been playing video games since I was a little kid. And, I've had a couple people say, why don't you stream? I was like, no one wants to watch me play. And the more fights, after I've been streaming for 9 months now, and there's some loyal fans in there. It's the perfect. I only get 50, 60 viewers at a time, so fans have questions. They come in there, and there's some kids there that literally every time I go live, they get a notification on their phone, and they're in there talking, saying, "Hey, what's up?" So I have a good relationship with my subscribers. They come in there, subscribe, and I'm in the UFC video game now, so I was playing that a couple times. I've seen some people on Twitter like, "Why would we pay to play with you?" It's not like that. I'm running a business. It's a something I do. It's not just fun. It's work too. It's I put a lot of hours into that to try to build that channel. So it's work really at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean it's good work, but it's work just the same.
It's fun. It's fun.
And on the fashion side, what are you trying to do?
With the fashion, I know the more fights I win, the bigger fights I win, the more my following goes up right now. I think eventually I want to get out there and be on the cover of GQ magazine. Just kind of get my own style out there. It's something different, something not like all these other guys, and I think I'm doing that pretty well right now. I just need the more fights I win, the more popular I get, the more eyes are on me. So it just really comes down to winning the next fight, and then everything from there just gets easier. So I'd like to get my own style out there, my own brand, my own clothing line.
Is there a moratorium for now on face tattoos? That's such a your generation thing, by the way.
It is. I don't know. I remember the star was I wanted it fight week in Vegas because I was all the media, all the outfits, all the attention. I felt like a star. I was like, I need to get a star tattoo, and I'm gonna fight for that. I'm gonna this is what I do for a living. I don't need to go get a job where I can't have a face tattoo. So, I liked it, and I've always kind of been the type of kid that when I want to do something, I do it. And I wanted to get a face tattoo, and I did it. And I was like, you know what? I liked it. I'll get another. So, don't be surprised if you see another one. But I want to keep it. I think what I got going on right now is still, it's not. People don't look at me like, you got face tattoos. It looks normal. I feel like. I think so.
You haven't reached Tekashi 6ix9ine level. You haven't quite got the whole forehead covered up.
I don't think I'll quite reach that level.
A couple more questions for you. Appreciate your time, and then we'll let you run. Number one, let's say this again. It matches up with USADA and the NSAC, right? So you're back again. Health issues notwithstanding, you're back in March, right? So let's say that's the situation we're operating under. I was told by somebody who knew your Fight Pass numbers from Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, and I can't divulge what they told me other than to say what you turned in when you were fighting was several orders of magnitude higher than everybody else, including I can't say, but it was very, very high. Okay. Are you worried at all? And the T-shirt sales were great, and again, you got a lot of metrics that show that fans are really interested. Are you a little bit worried that even if you get back soon, that there's this whole episode could stain or derail that at all? No, I'm gonna come back, and whoever I end up fighting, I'm gonna go out there and do what I do. And I think a healthy me is very dangerous, and I think I could beat anyone in the division. So I think I'm gonna come back and my last two fights were finishes. They were both decisions. My last two fights before that were both viral knockouts. I want to go back and be on that knockout. That's what I love. That's what I live for, is knocking people out. And I've been really, really into jiu-jitsu, so I wouldn't mind putting someone to sleep or breaking someone's arm. I want to come back and get a viral finish. And with those finishes, even though both of my decisions were, it was good for me to get 15 minutes in both those fights and learn a lot about myself. I battled through adversity through both those fights. In the second round against that Terrion fight, I was, I looked like I was gassed out, and I got a second win, came back. Obviously, broke my foot against Andre and still slapped him. So I think I'm going to be able to come back, get a finish, and everything's going to, shirt sales, they sold out in a couple hours, those first Reebok shirts. So, Reebok's made me 3 shirts already, and I've only had 2 fights. So I'm doing something right. The amount of views I get as far as on Fight Pass on that Contender Series, UFC obviously knows it. And I've renegotiated my contract after both fights. And the money's going
doubling, tripling. It's going up. So it's, that's, at the end of the day, we're trying to make the most money as we possibly can out of each fight. This is a very dangerous sport, and I don't want to get, hit in the head more than I have to. I'm very cautious about concussions. I've had bad concussions before. So I'm trying to make a lot of money with, and I love the fight. So I'm trying to fight and make a lot of money without having to fight too much. So, and I'm used to fighting 4 times a year, 4, 5, 6 times a year, especially as an amateur. I remember I fought 3 times in 30 days. Wow. So I like to fight a lot. So this has been really weird, only fighting 1 time this year. I got a fire under me, and I want to train and get back in there.
The contract renegotiations, like when you won, did you go and say, Dana, pay me? Or did they come to you and they say, kid, we want to pay you? Like, how did that go?
So the first fight, I got just the starting out against Terrion. And I think they approached me and they said, hey, we can renegotiate. And they offered me that, and I was like, well, okay, whatever. I still got to go out there and prove myself. Because in my mind, in my head, I'm worth, I'm worth a lot more than I'm getting paid. But that's fine because it's fair. I know I still have to go out there and perform. In my head, I've already went out there and performed. I already am the champ. I'm already, the most viewed fighter in my mind. And I just got to go out there and make that happen and make that a reality. So I'll get, at the end of the day, I'll get what I deserve in their eyes. And I just got to go out there and keep performing. All
right, last question for you. And again, I know you're in a positive mindset, so I don't want to put a damper on that. But just sort of like questioning how you're feeling. It sounds like UFC believes you, Jeff Nowitzki. You guys are working together, and it does sound even like Nevada believed you, right? So because they could have given you more, they gave you less. And as you mentioned, look at the numbers. Like all the reasons to believe you I think are in place. But at the end of the day, USADA is USADA, right? Like, have you even contemplated the idea that I don't think it's likely, but it is possible that they could give you 2 years and what that might mean? Have you even thought about that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, I got to be. There's no reason I'm not okay with that. I have to be. If they gave me 2 years, being upset about it literally does nothing. I'm always trying to be in a positive mindset no matter the situation. So I'm trying to. It is what it is. I don't think what I think is going to happen come January. I think UFC is going to do something about USADA. This can't happen. This isn't right. It was 3 weeks out before the biggest fight of my life, a 6-figure payday, and a huge opportunity for me to gain a following. That's not right. This can't happen. Like I said, I don't wish this upon any UFC fighter. Or any athlete. UFC has to do something about it as far as getting USADA, coming up with a new rule saying if you test below this certain amount, that it shouldn't even be counted. Either that or be done with USADA, or I like the idea of USADA. I love the fact that they're testing people and catching people cheating, but I don't. There's just not real. There's got to be more to it. 0.08 nanograms is absolutely nothing. It's I don't know. I think
the point is right. If you can catch someone for that little amount, but you agree that little amount is performance enhancing, well then who cares, right?
Right. Well, it's like a lot of people have been like, why do you take that many supplements? And it's like, go out there and train twice a day as hard as I do.
Right.
Your body breaks down. You need those supplements. You need that stuff. I'm taking joint supplements, vitamins, a bunch of things. It's like, I thought all athletes took supplements, but so a lot of people don't understand being a professional athlete and how bad your body breaks down. So everyone takes supplements that I know. So I think there's got to be something. And it's so easy to get a tainted supplement unless it's third party tested. See, I've never done anything. I didn't know better. All the stuff I've taken is all natural stuff, but it's not third party tested, which I guess is what is the safest way to make sure you're not getting that. So I'm gonna have to make sure I get all third party tested. And any of the UFC fighters that watch this, it's a good advice. Make sure it's third party tested.
Well, I don't know what's next, but I hope it's for the best. Safe travels. We really appreciate your time. We really appreciate your candor, of course, and we look forward to seeing you back in the octagon. And, of course, heal that hip and heal that foot as well, Sean. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.